There is no doubt that the Corolla Cross is one of the most compelling vehicles in our market today. I mean, it's a crossover, seats 5, it's practical, and it's a Toyota. And now they've got a new and improved version, and we're gonna start to take a look at both of them, beginning with this, the Corolla Cross 1.8 G Hybrid. The Corolla Cross 1.8G is perhaps the most anticipated facelift model, well, this year. Because like I said, this is not an all-new model, this is an update of the existing one that we've had since 2021. But it's quite a significant update, particularly in the G variant, because as we'll show you later, there are a lot of changes here. But where does the Corolla Cross fit? As it implies, the name is right there. It's a C segment crossover. It's not a B segment. I mean, although it's kind of close-ish, but it's more of a C segment. And that fills a very significant gap that has existed in the Toyota lineup ever since the RAV4 got bigger and bigger and more expensive. So that gap became filled in by the Corolla Cross, and now they also have the Yaris Cross just below it, and then also the Toyota Rays as their A segment crossover. So there's a lot of diversity in the Toyota range when it comes to these kinds of crossovers, but we have no doubts that this is going to be one of the most popular. So the front end, as you know, they've already had the G before, but the look is different. They changed the front clip, new headlights. It's got the new front end with the new cutouts in hexagonal style for the radiator, but still overall the size of the vehicle remains unchanged because there are no mechanical changes when it comes to the suspension, when it comes to the height. You can also see there are no roof rails on this vehicle. There's no sunroof because this is effectively the base model of the Corolla Cross range. That's also why you don't get cameras on the side mirrors, neither do you get a camera here or any of the other Toyota safety sense features. Those are exclusive for the high-end variants of the Corolla Cross range. But if we look right here, you'll notice the logo is new because it's got a blue halo. And that means something very significant for a vehicle like this. It means it's a hybrid, but more on that later. Compared to the GRS, the design of the G is far simpler here in the back. It doesn't get the black roof, all the nice trimmings and stuff like that, like the taillights. But still, all things considered, it looks pretty good. You have your rear wiper there, high mount stop lamp. You've got the rear dash cam right there, which is a good thing. This one does have a rear camera only. It's not a 360 camera, and it's right under there. So your bumper, all that, pretty much very straightforward. Also, being that it's a hybrid now, has the blue halo and the Toyota logo, which unusually the GRS does not have. Anyways, to pop open the tailgate, it doesn't open automatically, it just pops it open. So this one does not have the motorized tailgate for us to enjoy. Neither does it have the tonneau cover that the other one comes with, the retractable one. So keep that in mind. So the space here, pretty much the same, 33 inches long. It's about 45 between the wheel wells, or 43 thereabouts. It's a little bit more here, and you can fold down the rear seats 60/40 style to give you much more length when it comes to the cargo area. But just like the other Corolla Cross, it's not a fold flat space, meaning the rear seat does not go down to the ground because there's a battery underneath there and a fuel tank. So in the previous review of the Corolla Cross G we noted that it kind of is a bit of a problem that it has a sacrifice of the hybrid system, which is the battery there, without giving you the benefit of the hybrid system. In this one, you get the benefit of the hybrid system, so you can live with the sacrifice of the hybrid battery being under the front seat, the rear seats. But the big difference here is when we look under here. Because if you notice, it's a full-size spare tire. The other Corolla Cross GRS, it gets the Space Saver spare tire, which is, again, very weird for something of this. So I'm not sure what the reason is, if there are any mechanical changes or even structural changes with the tub that allows them to accommodate it. But it is worth noting that the lower variant does have the full-size spare, while the higher top of the line variant does not get it. And this is one of the problems of this kind of board. It does get hung up a little bit, but once you get it in place, it's all well and good. Oh yeah, mano-mano nga pala to. If you popped open the hood of a Corolla Cross G, the pre-facelift one, then this looks very different because this is no longer ICE only, this is a hybrid. So Toyota pretty much phased out the ICE for the entire Corolla Cross range, including the 1.8G. So under the hood, you get a 1.8 liter hybrid drivetrain, meaning gasoline and electric power in one. It's front-wheel drive via a CVT. Now, in terms of power, it makes 122 PS combined. The electric motor, it makes around 70, just a little over 70. The engine makes around 98 PS. So that's kind of normal for an Atkinson cycle engine. It sacrifices overall power to give you more efficiency to generate power for the battery system, which, by the way, is a nickel metal hydride battery over there in the back under the seat somewhere. That's why the seating feels kind of different than a lot of crossovers in our market. In terms of torque, this is actually where it gets a little bit interesting because in the brochure, they did not quote the torque of the electric motor. So we know it makes around 160 Newton meters for the electric motor, and then for the engine makes around 142 or there or thereabouts. So make of that what you will. I think Toyota needs to make some revisions to their brochure, and apparently nobody noticed. Anyways, so in terms of the driving characteristics, this is going to feel very, very different. But as you can see, this is where we can also see the TNGA platform at work, because you can see the car-like platform of the vehicle. If you notice, the actual framework, the actual monocoque or unibody is over here, the rails for that to give it its rigidity. Same with the way they do the front support there. That's why you have the body panels, the exterior body panels here on these tilts and riser mounts to be able to give them a mounting surface platform for it. But the engine is way down low. There's a lot of space in here. Actually, I would have, personally, if I was the one doing this, I'd move the intake a little bit higher somewhere else. You know, make it a bit better, particularly for ASEAN conditions, because we do get quite a bit of flooding over here, especially in the last couple of weeks. Anyway, so let's go check out what's inside so we can see more of the changes with the Corolla Cross G. If you watched my previous review of the Corolla Cross G, which was 3 years ago now, then you'll know that I was quite critical of the vehicle because I felt there were a lot of things that Toyota could have done so much better. And now that we've got the new G, did they do just that? Well, at first glance, most definitely so. A lot of the things have changed. So this being a hybrid, like I already mentioned, it's got the new 1.8 liter hybrid system, same as the other models. It's an all hybrid affair. So there are going to be changes when it comes to the instrument cluster, because instead of a tachometer, you've got a power meter. It indicates whether you're in power mode, meaning you're mashing the throttle. It'll be in power mode, the needle will be up there. If you're being efficient, it'll be in eco mode over here. And then charge mode, when you're lifting off the throttle and coasting, it'll be all indicated there. In the middle, you've got your speedometer, and on the right, you've got a smaller multi-info display for a lot of the pertinent information about the vehicle. But it's still a mix of an analog or Optitron style gauge with a small multi-info display. Pretty much covers the essentials. The steering wheel, it's still got this nice leather wrap around it. You've got audio controls here on the left as well as actually on the right. You got the control for the hat switch over there. But if you notice, there's no cruise control in this variant. So if you're driving, taking it on a long drive, this one does not have cruise control, so keep that in mind. Now, right now the engine is on, and then now it's off. So it's done charging. That's one of the benefits of the hybrid system. Even when we're doing our shoots, it tends to be very, very useful. Now, stock here, no problem. Headlamp leveler on the left, ignition button or the on button here on the right, because once you do activate the vehicle, chances are the engine will be off, so it'll be oddly quiet for those who aren't really used to the hybrid system just yet. In the middle, this is a big change. This screen, I mean, the one before, it had that TV box kind of thing here, the 2-din style. Thankfully, they've upgraded that to this new unit, which features wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto right there. Very, very useful and very handy. And if you're wondering where my phone is, it's right down here on the wireless charger. This, I noted, this is actually a big change from the previous one because this space here was kind of useless for a lot of things. So Toyota revised that, which is always a good thing. What I wish they improved on though was the panel here, because if you notice, it moves quite a bit even with a little bit of pressure. And then this panel here, there's nothing there, so what's kind of, the point of having this when it's all blank? So they could have put more features there, or they could have made it a tray so you can have, let's say, your wallet there, or maybe even a sunglass holder, because this one does not have sunglass holders all around. So my glasses are actually just down here on the cup holders. Maybe I can put it there. All well and good. For your drive selector, you've got the the PRN, D, B, meaning the D of course, and then the B is for the engine braking mode. And then in reverse mode, the rear view camera will come up, but the guidelines, you don't get that in this vehicle. You do get it actually in the 360 camera in that vehicle, which is the GRS. Now, it's a fairly straightforward vehicle, meaning there's not much in the way of fancy frills. I mean, you don't even get leather seats in this one, but you do get a nice leather pad here. Let's see what's under here. I mean, a decent compartment there. Up here, you got the day-night mode rear view mirror, which is always a good thing. And standard in all the Corolla Cross versions, you got your dash cam right there, so you can record everything and post it on Facebook and all the incidents and all that stuff. Hopefully you don't get involved in any of those incidents. As for the back, in terms of space, it's not going to be that fantastic because you do have the hybrid battery back there as well as the fuel tank. But you do get your center armrest there folding down. The space, you have the 2 AC vents here in the back. But the real question here is that they could have improved on the footroom back there, because the way they have it set up with the risers and the mounts for this, it kind of eats in and constricts the space for your feet and for your shoes. Anyways, enough talk, let's go take it out for a drive. The Corolla Cross 1.8G is what I would call the essential HEV, meaning it is a hybrid, but it's more of a basic type of hybrid. When car makers tend to offer hybrids, the specs usually tend to be so high and the feature list so long that it kind of takes the price to another league, relative to the size of the vehicle, which is why people often look at already larger vehicles for the same price of a smaller HEV. That is the thing with the Corolla Cross, or actually the strategy of a lot of Toyotas before. They went for a more premium type of vehicle when it comes to the specs and drove up the price to a different category already. And that was a challenge. But with the Corolla Cross going full hybrid for all variants, this just makes a lot of sense for someone looking for an everyday car and doesn't need all the trimmings. You don't need to have the kitchen sink all the time. That sounds weird. But you don't need to have all the bells and whistles all the time. I mean, it's got all the basics covered without feeling bare. And that's the important thing. It doesn't feel bare. Yes, there are things that I miss, like the leather seats, which is fine because sometimes I do prefer the fabric because, leather seats can be pretty warm on the back, or even the leatherette ones. So this one is all well and good. You just want a cool AC. This one has it, even a dual zone AC. So it's got all those basics covered. And it happens to be a hybrid. So what the hybrid system gives you, it gives you the torque of the electric motor, the electric drive, which is really beneficial in the city, and the no anxiety range of a car that also runs on internal combustion to charge everything up. Yes, I would still want a charge system like where I can plug it in at home, but I don't think the nickel metal hydride battery is big enough to really take advantage of that. If it was lithium ion, like maybe in the Innova Zenix, then maybe. But they don't offer that in this vehicle. But still, the fuel efficiency numbers we're getting is around 18 in the city without even making a big effort out of driving it efficiently. On mixed conditions, it goes up to around 20 to 22. On the highway, you can easily get 25, depending on the driving and depending on how many people you have in the vehicle with you. If you're driving around in EV mode right now, it's very, very quiet. Like, there's no vibration from an engine charging everything up. It's basically you're doing 0 kilometers per liter. No, that sounds wrong. You're doing kilometers using 0 liters. That would be the better way to describe it. And when you're going downhill, you can kind of just coast, let the engine or at least the energy recapture do its job and send more charge to the battery by using the motor as a generator, without having to activate the engine. So these are the things with the hybrid, which is why the fuel numbers tend to fluctuate quite a bit, and it really depends on the kind of driving, the kind of traffic conditions that you're involved in. But again, the advantage of an electric motor is that it gives you the torque right away, so you don't really have to step on it all that much to take advantage of the torque. So you kind of just give it very, very light pressure, and if you've got enough charge in the battery, you can cruise like right now. All you're hearing are the bumps and all that, but not really the engine. Oh, there you go, the engine just kicked in. So that is something to be expected out of these hybrids. And if it's your first time to try one, that's the kind of sensation you're gonna have to get used to. And that's what the Corolla Cross represents. It represents like a stepping stone for a lot of people into hybrid ownership, and that's what this vehicle is going to be really good at. Now, there is also the Yaris Cross, but even when we were driving the Yaris Cross, I would note that when the engine kicks in and turns off, you can really feel it. That's just to be expected out of the DNGA platform. This one being the TNGA, you feel a bit more of the Toyota refinement, and that's what you want. And in this, I think they really got it right. It's a smart move to really go for the hybrid across the entire model range. What they're doing here is they're really democratizing the hybrid drive system. And I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, a lot of people are going to go for the GRS or the V, but if you want maximum value, this one just makes a lot of sense. And later when we hop into the Corolla Cross GRS, let's see if that's even better, because the suspension is different. There are some other changes. Let's see if the value proposition is something we can look behind or beyond by going for an all bells and whistles variant. Because as it stands, I would pick this for going about my daily business to and from the office, no problem. The Corolla Cross 1.8G Hybrid, I think, is the sweet spot in the entire Toyota Motor Philippines range when it comes to hybrids, because it offers you everything you want, not necessarily nothing you don't, but it gives you the essentials and still gives you a hybrid powertrain to grant you the efficiency that we always need, especially now with fuel prices being the way they are. That is going to be the big edge of this one. And even when you look at the price of, let's say, the Yaris Cross HEV, I think this is less, isn't it? Because this is priced at 1.5 million, just a little bit under if you get a different color, but in this one I think this is a little bit more. But still, it's good value all around because you get the proper TNGA platform. It rides well. There are some good things that we want improved, like removing the panels that don't have buttons in it, but that's a minor detail. Eventually, when they go to the newer generation, I know a lot of those things are going to be much better. But for now, for a facelift, I think they've got a really good one with the Corolla Cross 1.8G. But guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of this model. Is this the one that you've been looking for, that you've always wanted from Toyota? let us know. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya.com. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like if you found it useful and subscribe for more videos in the future. Next up, we have the Corolla Cross GRS.